This is Greg Barnes with Inside Carolina. Alongside of me, John Bauman. Here at Kenan Stadium, North Carolina preparing to play Georgia Tech on Saturday. The Hills are 1-3, John, and unfortunately, they're not playing with a full deck of cards right now. A lot of injuries. Is there any signs of any positive developments on that front?
Yes, the injuries are tough. Fedora was talking about after the game Saturday how he was having to literally tell the receivers playing the slot the routes as they were running them. And that's really not what you want at all. So there's been injuries at the offensive line position, running back, and wide receiver. A couple guys North Carolina can expect back is most likely Daz Newsome and Roscoe Johnson. So that's positive developments at the A-back slot. Just some bodies who know what they're doing and can run the routes and have shown some flashes of talent there. Along the offensive line, too, a lot of people banged up. Coach Cap talked about how Cam Dillard, playing at center, wasn't as strong as he was early in the season, didn't have as much push off his legs, but he should be back with a week better, along with Bentley Spain there at the offensive line. Yeah, the thing about Cam is that last week before the Duke game, he only practiced Thursday, and so very limited in that game against the Blue Devils. You add in that Bentley Spain was only about 70% according to Cap. Those guys have to be a little bit better for North Carolina to be solid offensively because, I mean, this season they have really struggled on third down. They're 3 of 16 against Duke. That's not going to get it done because Georgia Tech is 4th nationally in time of possession. They're just going to take the ball and run and hide with it if they can. What do you think the keys are for this offense to be more productive, especially on third down? I think what North Carolina has to do is try to find positive on first and second down so they're not in third and longs. It's difficult because with Chaz, he's a redshirt freshman. You have to kind of sort of keep reminding yourself that this is his 5th game. It's his first road ACC start this weekend. So it'll be a challenge for North Carolina to have to deal with him, for Chaz to deal with all the injuries, and then as well deal with this first road ACC environment.
Yeah, that's a good point because playing on the road is going to be tough. Old Dominion, while that was loud, we're talking about a facility that only holds 20,000 people. And I think you're exactly right with the third down situation because against Duke, they had a number of third and longs. And when you give a freshman quarterback a 3rd and 13 against a good defense, you really take the run game out of play and you put a lot of pressure on him trying to make some of those passes. Defensively, everybody that watches the ACC and has followed North Carolina knows what this Paul Johnson offense wants to do. It's very much take what the defense gives you. It's a spread option look. We always say it's a triple option offense. That's part of the offense, but they run a lot of other options as well. And so really the key word that we've heard all week long and what we've heard for years, it seems like, is discipline and gap integrity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, MJ was just talking about in practice how his eye discipline and how Georgia Tech has beat him on the same play 3 times each of his past 3 years. So that's something that MJ, even as an experienced defender, he's still working on with his eye discipline. North Carolina has to keep it disciplined and just make tackles and make plays to help beat Georgia Tech.
Right, and Paul Johnson just said a number of times over the years, you can scheme up against it as much as you want, but at the end of the day, you've got to have the players to be able to be disruptive, to win their one-on-one matchups, to really have a chance to stop this offense. If you don't do that, you have to force turnovers. Mm-hmm. But if you can't slow them down and you can't force turnovers, you're likely not going to win this game. North Carolina fell behind last time they were in Atlanta, 21-0. And Georgia Tech, you made a few errors late in the first half that allowed North Carolina to get back into it. And, of course, that was the biggest comeback in UNC school history. Mm-hmm. So getting off to a good start is a key part of the equation. For John Bauman, I'm Greg Barnes with Inside Carolina.